fight like a roaring fight, crypto and dreams under stadium lights, sweat and fire, hearts ignite. Evening sports buffet, we'll let the Ginch replay.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. It's January 12th, by the way. January 1 by quickly. Wildcard weekend wraps up tonight with Houston and Pittsburgh. Thanks to the Ginch quartet there. Enough of that. Harry Mays will be on at 6:10 p.m. I'll have to pick his brain on golf. Golf starting back up this week. I believe it's the Sony Open out there in Hawaii. But let's just jump into it, shall we? With the NFL wild card weekend. Now I saw some of the games. I didn't see all of some of the games, but it started Saturday, Rams-Panthers. And look, the Panthers have beaten the Rams early in the year, and everyone was like, "Oh, that was like week 13," and it doesn't matter. Have you seen the Rams' defense the last couple weeks? Kind of pathetic. Look, but the Rams outlasted the Panthers 34-31. Stafford had a good game collectively. I know he had the one interception, but then he turned it around. Team stat-wise, Rams were horrible on third down, by the way. They were 3 of 13, but they won the rushing battle. And I normally say that if you win the rushing battle and you win the turnover battle, more than likely you're going to win the football game. Panthers were game, though. You got to give them credit. The place was rocking. But the Rams move on to the next round. And if anybody watched the Bears-Packers game like I did, I was at a cigar bar in New Jersey called the Leaf and Bean. I watched both those games there. It was 21-3 at the half, and everybody was like, "Oh, the game's over." So look, I've watched enough football over the years. I've watched enough sports over the years. Until that clock reads 00.00 in the fourth period, the fourth quarter, the fourth whatever, no team's ever out of it. Look, Green Bay shit the bed in the second half. They couldn't muster up anything in the second half. I mean, Chicago turned it over twice. Green Bay won the rushing battle. But look, Chicago was 10 of 19 on third down. Green Bay was 6 of 15. And they just could not muster up any offense in the second half. Now, should Mr. LaFleur get fired? I don't know. Should he? Do you want to give him one more year? I don't know. He will probably remain the Packers coach till at least through next year. But we'll see. And look, Bears were game. One thing about the Bears, if you watch them this year, they've been down in the second half many a game this year, and they always seem to be a second half team. They just the light goes on, and they play better in the second half. So the Bears move on, and then we come to the games yesterday. I picked the Jags to beat the Bills, and I was looking good there for a while. But look, Josh Allen balled out. Defense did what it had to do. It was an evenly matched game, to be honest with you, throughout. I know Buffalo had the lead there for a while. Looked like maybe they were going to muster up something and maybe blow them out. That didn't materialize. But look, Josh Allen, there's no Mahomes in the playoffs. There's no Burrow. So we'll see along down the line. But the Bills scored late, and then Trevor Lawrence, don't know what he was thinking, throwing that late pass. Lived to fight another day. I was hoping that Jacksonville would drive the field, kick the field goal, and it would send it into overtime, and then we would have had a hell of a battle in overtime. But the Bills advance. The 49ers beat the Eagles 23-19. Look, I have a disdain for the Eagles, and I always start giving Eagles fans shit just because they razz me all year long. Really, I thought that if the Eagles just would have stuck all game long, just pound the rock. Pound the rock, pound the rock, pound the rock. They won the rushing battle. They won the turnover battle, yet they still lost. People are saying fire Kevin Patullo. Look, the coaches weren't dropping passes. Coaches weren't playing offensive line. Is the offense vanilla? Yeah. But you still have to execute, don't you? You still have to be professional about it if you're the Eagles players, don't you? I don't know. I don't know what to say. People are like bashing Jalen Hurts now, and A.J. Brown should be gone, and get rid of Elliott. You're going to do that when you lose in the playoffs. It's you're going to play Monday quarterback. You're going to second guess. You're going to do it's just whatever. But the 49ers advance, and then yesterday, real barn burner. Patriots beat the Chargers 16-3. I was able to watch it through the second quarter, and then I fell asleep, and I got up this morning. So it was 16-3. Obviously, New England's defense came to play. The Chargers, same old, same old. You got Justin Herbert back there, but his receivers are pedestrian. Lad McConkey, okay. But Keenan Allen's a shell of himself. Quentin Johnson, shows flashes, but he disappears. And, of course, Marion Hampton's been hurt. They're just wasting, I think, Justin Herbert talent. The Chargers will have to make a decision in the offseason, what they want to do. But the Patriots advance to the next round. One game to be played tonight, Texans-Steelers. I actually took the Steelers to win. I think Houston keeps it close with their defense. I just don't trust Houston's offense. But if you're looking ahead to next Saturday, the Bills play the Broncos. No time yet determined. Buffalo, the early favorite at 1.5. Over-under is 46.5. And then the 49ers Seahawks. This is the third time I think they're playing in like 6 weeks or something. Seattle, the early 7-point favorite, most likely because San Francisco will be out without Mr. Kittle. He is done for the year with the injury. And, of course, next Sunday, the Patriots play the winner of today's game. And then probably the later game will be the Rams at the Bears. The Rams are nearly 3.5-point favorite there. Again, I will say this. People pick my brain about this all the time. If you take care of the football and you can pound the rock in December and January, more than likely you're going to get to February. So you have to be able to run the ball. Much as it's a pass-happy league, again, if you can't run the ball and you're one-dimensional and the defense knows you can't run the football, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to drop 7, 8 in coverage. And that's what they're going to do. So if we're looking ahead to next weekend, I will say it again. Whoever runs the football the best and whoever wins the turnover margin is most likely going to win. Unless you're the Eagles. Unless you're the Eagles. And I don't know what to tell Eagles fans. I was giving them shit last night, left and right. Deservedly so, because that's all I hear throughout the year, especially after they kicked my Chiefs' ass last year. But guess where they are this year? Next week, they're going to be sitting on the couch or out golfing or on vacation, just like my team. I see him in the green room. It is almost 6:10. I think I'm going to bring him on anyway. I've got no intro music, none of that. But let's bring him on. Good friend to the program. There he is, Mr. Harry Mays. Harry, thanks for joining, my man.
Hey, good evening, Ryan. Great to be here. You don't have any walk-up music from me, and no Bob Weir, no Grateful Dead in honor of the loss of the great Bob Weir?
You know what? I'm on my Verizon pad because my regular laptop took a dump.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with it. And for some odd reason, I can't do certain functions on my Verizon pad. I know the great Bob Weir passed away. There's only 2 of them left right now, right?
Yeah, the 2 drummers, Mickey Hart and Bill Kreutzmann, are the 2 surviving members now.
Yeah. And yet Keith Richards lives.
Uh-huh.
Before we get into some golf here, Harry, I got to get your take on yesterday's game. People are calling, Jalen Hurts this. He can't read a defense. It's too complex for him. A.J. Brown, get rid of him. Dropping passes. Dallas Goedert dropping passes. Elliott missing. But you know what, Harry? And people call it Kevin Patula, get rid of him. Some onus has to be put on the players, though. It's just not all coaching. The coaches aren't dropping passes. The coaches aren't missing extra points. I get it. You want to put the players in the best possible situations schematically. But I've been calling all year the when the Eagles run the football and they pound the rock, and I know the offensive line isn't what it was last year, but I was waiting for the running game all year long to get going, to take over, and it just never materialized.
Well, yeah, I mean, the offensive line has been banged up pretty much the entire season. You had no Lane Johnson in there, and he was missing for the last couple of weeks, and we all know, their record without Lane Johnson is not very good. Obviously, as opposed to when he's in there. But, yeah, it's all of the above. I mean, Jalen Hurts is limited as a quarterback, in my view, and that to me is why he bails the pocket a lot of times early, because he can't really see well down the middle of the field, and he's trying to make plays. They didn't have enough explosive plays. They had wide receivers like A.J. Brown, who's been complaining the entire season that he wasn't getting enough of the ball. Well, he had a couple opportunities yesterday early in that game that I didn't see a whole lot of effort going after a ball when he was covered by guys. It wasn't the typical A.J. Brown that I was used to for all these years. And then, of course, the big drop late, which was inexcusable, was right in his hands by Jalen Hurts. It was all the above. I mean, Jake Elliott has been spotty. He was spotty late in the year last year, kind of rallied into the playoffs and got him to the Super Bowl, but he was spotty again this season, and it cost him, because if he makes that extra point, all they have to do is kick a field goal there late and at least take it to overtime. So maybe you play the game a little bit differently, although, Nick Sirianni, being as aggressive as he always is, a lot of times, sometimes to a fault, probably would have gone for a touchdown anyway with the way he plays it. Right. Especially at home. But we've been seeing this all season long. I do a post-game show. I do weekly shows on the Locked On Network for the Eagles content, and this has been much of the same. We've seen this offense just go limp. They just disappear, for quarters or halves of games, and you're like, what happened? They looked so good in the first half. They were able to run the football. Then in the third quarter, basically every time they tried to run the ball on first and second down, they were tackled for a loss. And then you get behind the chains and there's one incomplete pass, and the next thing you know, it's a 3-and-out and a punt. And you really got to credit the San Francisco 49ers coaching staff, because as you were talking about their injuries, all the guys that they are down, losing Kittle in that game, they've played a lot without him. He's injured quite often, so I don't think that was a real shock to them, although you never want to see it. As a 49ers player or coach, but they're kind of used to going without him, at least this season. And in years past, he's missed a lot of games. But the way that they scheme to get guys open, they don't have a whole lot of speed at wideout. They're dealing with a bunch of threes at the wideout position, and yet they had a couple of explosive plays. They even had one where Jennings was the quarterback and threw a touchdown to McCaffrey for 29, 30 yards, one of their 5 or 6 explosive plays. And it's just amazing what that coach, at least in the regular season and the playoffs leading up to a Super Bowl, is able to do. It's when he gets to the Super Bowl that he even kind of gets tight and gets conservative and has not found a way to get it done yet. But I figured the Eagles would not make the Super Bowl based upon the way that their offense was performing throughout the season, but I didn't think it would end in the wild card round. I thought they'd at least get one win under their belt and maybe go to Chicago and maybe lose there, or maybe get a home game in the championship game if the Rams survived and they'd host the Rams, and maybe the Rams would beat them the second go-round. But I did not see it happening yesterday, but credit to the 49ers, and there's going to be a lot of change at the NovaCare complex, be it coaching, players. They got a lot of free agents they got to decide upon, and they're going to need to do some things in the draft to bolster that offensive line. They're going to need an edge rusher. I don't know if they're bringing back Jalen Phillips or not. N'Kobe Dean's probably gone. There's going to be a lot of change.
Yeah. I forgot to mention at the top of the show, on the Twitter machine, at Harry Mays TU, at Locked On Birds Podcast and Squad, at IT underscore ding golf podcast.
Yeah, that's
Hashtag
swing it and ding it.
RG pod. At Crossing Broad, contributor on at Inside Golf TV and at 1210 WPHT. As a KL and Company, right? KL?
Kale, Nick Kale. Yeah, Kale and
Kale and
Company.
Company.
Yeah.
All right, Harry, let's talk some golf here. It's swinging. They're going to do the Hawaii swing. Last year, Rory wins the Masters, Scotty wins the PGA and the Open, and then JJ Spa wins the U.S. Open. Now Brooks Koepka's coming back. The U.S. loses another Ryder Cup last year. I'm sure you're stoked for the Sony Open this weekend. Look, what are we looking for this year, especially with Brooks Koepka coming back?
Well, Koepka coming back is pretty remarkable. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad the PGA decided to sort of let him in there without serving any kind of a suspension. It's not, he's not eligible for bonus money for a bunch of years. There's all kinds of stipulations that are going along with this. But bottom line is he's going to be, playing in La Jolla here in a couple of weeks at the Farmers, and he's not eligible for the elevated events right now. So he's going to have to play his way into that. And I think that's a good thing. Plus, they're leaving a window open for some of these other guys like a John Rahm, a Bryson DeChambeau, a Cam Smith, guys that have won majors, to come back, but they've only got a couple of weeks here to make a decision. And I'm hoping that those three guys at least come back. There's only two other guys on Live Tour that I really care about outside of those three, and that's Tyrrell Hatton and Wacko Neiman. Everybody else can stay at Live as far as I'm concerned. But if you can get those other three guys, Rahm, DeChambeau, and Smith back, now you got something. You're going to make the PGA Tour, at least, by and large, a whole lot more interesting. The best players will be playing against each other more often, and that's the way it should be. But, yeah, this year, I mean, you're looking at Scotty Scheffler with a chance at the Grand Slam coming up at the U.S. Open at Shinnecock later on this year. You got Jordan Spieth back from injuries now, and he's going to be teeing it up this week in Hawaii. He's got a chance to go for a Grand Slam at the PGA here locally at Aronimink Golf Club, so that's adding some intrigue. I'm curious to see how Xander Schauffele, Victor Hovland, guys like that who kind of had some off years last year, some due to injury, some not, but I'm looking for guys like that to get back in the mix, see if JJ Spawn is a flash in the pan, or can he repeat and play at the top the leaderboard in some of these big events this year like he did last year. Does Will Zalatoris coming back from injury? I'm interested in seeing how he progresses. Just had Denny McCarthy on the Swing It and Ding It podcast last week. He's a guy that I think he's gonna hunt down his first win on the PGA Tour this year. He's too good of a putter to not get one, and I think this year it happens. Tommy Fleetwood is a guy who I've got open bets right now at the Open Championship at plus 2,500. I noticed today it's down to plus 1,400, so somebody likes it. And I also have him at the U.S. Open, and I had it at 3,500. It's now down to plus 2,000. So I'm looking for Tommy Fleetwood to knock down a major now that he's gotten the victory on the PGA Tour out of the way, which was cool to see. Cam Young is another guy that I'm looking to see if he can sort of springboard off of his win last year. He's got so much immense talent. I took him at the PGA Championship this year. It's plus 7,000 is what I got. It's now down to plus 5,000. So those are some of the bets, the early bets that I have going here on the tour.
Let me ask you, as far as Brooksy goes and a couple of the other guys that are on the Live Tour. I know Brooksy says it's for family reasons. I know that's what he says.
Yeah.
But what do you think the real reason is some of these guys are looking to jump back onto the PGA Tour?
Well, I think outside of the money, I think they were promised some things that have not really been delivered. I think they were told that they were going to get world ranking points. They were told that they were going to be able to play in all these other events, if they wanted to. And now they find out that they're kind of not eligible, or they're not getting ranking points because they're only playing 54 holes in a closed shop. They have now since changed that to going to at least 72 holes with still a closed shop of only 54 players. But they might be able to wrangle some sort of world ranking credit out of that. Who knows? But I think they were told a whole lot in the beginning, along with a big check. And I think a lot of the stuff has not come true. They've realized Brooks Koepka gets bored easily. He was bored on the PGA Tour by and large, week after week. It only took, the majors, and maybe team competitions that really got his juices flowing. So I could see him being really bored on LIV. He probably doesn't like the music. He doesn't like the golf courses they're playing on because they're B-rated golf courses by and large around the world. And, flying around, all over the globe, which those guys do, and that's part of the allure of that tour, probably did get pretty old because, he does have a family now. He probably does want to be home for a little bit more and base himself out of Florida and just, jet to the places in the United States where the tour plays. So that probably is an appeal to him. But I think he got bored, and I think he got tired of, the promises that they were made to them that really weren't delivered.
Talk to me about TaylorMade is launching its new, is it the QI40 golf club lineup? What are you hearing about this particular club set?
Well, I haven't seen any of the new stuff yet, but TaylorMade, they got Rory McIlroy, they got Scotty Scheffler, the guys that lead the way with that brand. And, they put stuff out, it seems like every year and a half. They're always upgrading them. Them and Callaway, can't put stuff out enough, fast enough. As soon as you buy it, 6 months later, they got new technology. It's kind of a pain in the rear end as a consumer. But what I've heard is, their driver's fantastic. I can't wait to try it here in the next couple of weeks. We got a guy at my club that is actually a club fitter, and he was just out in Southern California at all the manufacturers, testing out all the equipment. So I'm going to hear it directly from him here pretty soon. And when I get back from Florida, I'll give that a try. But it's probably fantastic.
It wouldn't matter for me because I play military golf. It's left, right, left, right. Yeah, that's all I play is military golf. Before I get you out of here, and again, thanks for coming on.
Yep.
Back to the Eagles. Do you think they're going to get rid of A.J. Brown? Who's going to go first?
If I had to bet, I would say A.J. is not part of the team next year. I don't know who will initiate that. But I just, something tells me that, when you keep hearing things, things aren't quite right, whether it's between him and the quarterback or him and the coach or him and the rest of the line, I just have to think that there's something to it. And, blow-ups happen on sidelines. I don't take too much into that. Guys are competitive. They're out there, in the heat of the moment, and the coach is very competitive. He's a fiery guy. AJ's a fiery guy. I don't make too much of that blow-up on the sideline. Although with all the other stuff that had gone on, it was not a real good look, especially then when he drops a couple of passes. I mean, it's like the perfect storm. But if you had me make a bet, I would probably say he's on another roster next year.
Well, at least the fans can hang their hat on the Flyers right now. The Flyers are having a decent season. Sixers look to be stabilized a little bit. And look, with spring training coming up in about a month. So, all right, January 19th, who's the national champion in college football?
Boy, I hope it's Indiana. I really like this Hoosier team. I love the coach. I love the quarterback. They've got a heck of a defense. Just watching them, the way, it sort of just seemed like it was kind of their year once they made that play against Penn State. Yeah. I mean, when they came back and drove the field against Penn State, and that quarterback and wide receiver connection, the unbelievable catch, getting the proper foot down, it was just magical. I just think they're kind of on something right now. Miami's having a great year. And they're going to be really good because they got a lot of really good players that are really young that I think they'll be able to hang on to. And, everybody wants to ask Cristobal if the U is back, and he refused to want to answer it. I understand why he doesn't want to answer it because he wants to win something first. But I got news for him. The U looks like they're back, and it's good for college football if they are going forward. But I really hope Indiana pulls it off.
Once we start rolling around to Masters weekend, I will have to pick your brain, bring you on, who are your favorites and whatnot. So, are you doing any TGL golf?
I haven't watched it yet. I think they've had two or three contests thus far. They've gone up against football on a couple of these occasions. I thought it was bizarre. They started it a little early this year on off nights. I'm used to the Monday or the Monday night after football ends because there's
Yeah.
no Monday night football, and then the Tuesday night stuff I really liked because that kind of bridged the gap until you get to Thursday when the PGA Tour events start. So
Yeah.
they've thrown me for a little bit of a loop. I haven't seen these opening matches with Atlanta and whoever else was in it, but I watched it last year. I enjoyed it, and I'll watch it again this year.
All right, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the playoffs.
You got it, Ryan. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Harry Mays, ladies and gentlemen, uh, always generous with his time. And again, when it comes to the Eagles and whatnot, I really don't know what to tell Eagles fans, man. I really don't. Doesn't man look if they bring in whatever offensive coordinator, they say they fire Kevin Toole, and they bring in somebody else, and they suck out loud next year. You gonna call for them to fire that person too? Just to, I'll say this again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. If the Eagles just would have ran the football, you got Shipley, you got Barkley, they had Bigsby, they had AJ Dillon, they could have used all four. And they just never gotten around to it. Is it Kevin Petula's fault? The head coach has the last say on everything. Is it, Fangio did his thing. I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't. 8 o'clock here on the Cole County Entertainment Network. Patterson Avenue Fanatics. Tom, Mike Fuji, those guys will, I'm sure they'll be venting, much to my pleasure, by the way. I already went over the NFL stuff. I'll try and get through this. Let's go to the NBA standings, shall we? As I do every week on Monday. Out there in the Eastern Conference, your Detroit Pistons are still in first. The Knicks are second. They're 3.5 back. The Celtics are third. They're 4 back. Toronto, fourth, 5 back. Philadelphia's fifth, 6.5 back of first. Orlando and Cleveland are tied for 7 points. 7 games back. Miami's 8th, 8.5 back. Atlanta's 9th, 9.5 back. Chicago's 10th, 10 back. Milwaukee, Charlotte, Brooklyn, Washington, Indiana. In the Western Conference, Oklahoma City still on top. San Antonio second, 5.5 back. Denver's third, 6.5 back. Minnesota's fourth, 7 back. Lakers are fifth, 8 back. Phoenix is sixth, 8.5 back. Houston seventh, 9 back. Golden State is 8th, 12 back. Portland's 9th, 14 back. Memphis 10th, 15.5 back. Clippers, Mavs, Jazz, Kings, Pelicans. If you're betting tonight, or you're going to put in some fantasy leagues, Rudy Gobert has been suspended. He has to miss the Wolves game tonight at the Bucks. The NBA fined Jaylen Brown $35 for his criticism on the refs. He said he would take the fine. If anybody watches post-game presser. Let's see. On the slate tonight, Celtics at the Pacers, Jazz at the Cavs, 76ers at the Raptors, Mavs at the Net. Or I'm sorry. Let's start over. Celtics at the Pacers, Jazz at the Cavs, Sixers at the Raptors, Nets at the Mavs, Lakers at the Kings, and the Hornets at the Clippers. Go to the NHL standings as I do every Monday. In the Eastern Conference, in the Atlantic Division, Detroit's on top. Tampa Bay is second. They are a point back. Montreal's third, 2 points back. Buffalo and Boston are tied for fourth. They are 6 points back. Toronto sixth, 7 points back. Florida seventh, Excuse me, they are 9 points back, and Ottawa bringing up the rear. They are 13 points back. In the Metropolitan, the Hurricanes sit on top, 59 points. The Islanders second, they're 4 back. Flyers and the Capitals, they are both tied for third. They are both 7 points back. Pittsburgh's fifth, 8 points back. New Jersey and the Rangers are both tied for seventh, 13 points back. Columbus is last, 14 points back. In the Western Conference, Colorado running away with the Central Division. They're on top with 73 points. Dallas and Minnesota are tied for second with 61 points. They're 12 back. Utah's fourth, 25 points back. Nashville fifth. They are 27 points back. The Blackhawks sixth, 28 points back. The Blues are seventh. They are 31 points back. And Winnipeg are having a rough season, 34 points back. Out there in the Pacific, the Golden Knights sit on top with 54 points. Edmonton second with 51 points. They're 3 back. In third, San Jose, they are 5 back. Seattle's fourth, along with the Kings. They're both 6 points back. Anaheim sixth, 45 points, 9 back. Calgary, seventh, 12 points back. And Vancouver bringing up the rear, 37 points. On the slate tonight in the NHL, Oilers are at the Blackhawks, Maple Leafs at the Avalanche, Panthers at the Sabres, Hurricanes at the Wings, Kraken at the Rangers, Lightning at the Flyers, Canucks at the Canadiens, Devils at the Wild, Stars at the Kings. Did you get all that? As we follow the bouncing ball, again, NCAA final, the national championship game pits Indiana against Miami. I will be making picks on Thursday. And I will be having a watch-along party next Monday. No particular place I'm doing it from, but I'm going to have a watch-along party. Let's go to NCAA women's basketball. Go to the rankings. AP poll top 25 as it stands today. Illinois is 25th, Nebraska is 24th, Notre Dame is 23rd, Princeton's 22nd. Alabama's 21st, Tennessee's 20th, Iowa State 19th, Baylor 18th. Texas Tech is 17th, Ole Miss is 16th, Michigan State 15th, Ohio State 14th. Oklahoma 13th, Maryland 12th. Iowa's 11th, TCU's 10th, Louisville's 9th, Michigan's 8th, Kentucky's 7th, LSU is 6th. Vandy is undefeated, they're 5th, Texas is 4th, UCLA is 3rd, South Carolina is 2nd, and Utah is still number 1, undefeated. Top 25 action tonight, number 21 Alabama is at Missouri. Alabama is favored by 12.5. Over there on the men's side, let's go to the rankings. I will use the coaches poll. Kansas drops all the way to 25th. Utah State, 24th. Iowa's 23rd. UGA's 22nd. Clemson's 21st. Florida's 20th. Louisville's 19th. Alabama, 18th. Arkansas is 17th. Virginia's 16th. North Carolina 15th, Texas Tech 14th, Illinois 13th, Michigan State 12th, BYU 11th, Nebraska in 10th. They are undefeated, 16-0. Gonzaga is 9th. Vandy is undefeated. They are 8th. Houston 7th, Duke 6th, Purdue 5th, UConn 4th, Michigan 3rd. Ladies and gentlemen, Iowa State and Arizona both undefeated in the 1 and 2 positions respectively. Excuse me. NCAA men's basketball. I'm trying to look if there's any top 25 matchups tonight. as I roll down the list, there are none tonight. There are no top 25 matchups in college basketball that I am seeing. English Premier League, all you need to know, there was a game last Thursday. There was no action this weekend. Arsenal and Liverpool 0-0 draw. Again, this week, the PGA Tour is the Sony Open Hawaii. It's at the Waiala'i Country Club in Honolulu, Hawaii. Purse is $9.1 million. Last year's winner was Nick Taylor. Yes, sir, Bobcat Tail. This past weekend on the Corn Ferry Tour, the Bahamas Golf Classic at Atlantis, the Ocean Club course there. And actually, that's actually ongoing from the 11th until the 14th. Right now, 3 players tied up at the top. The second round was suspended. Mr. Dixon, Mr. Menante, and Mr. Sloan, each 15 under par. I was trying to look. Why is it not showing me the women's tour for some odd reason? Why is it doing this to me? Okay, I'm on my Verizon pad, by the way. My laptop took a shit and never recovered. If for some odd reason it's not showing me. Why is it not showing me the women's tour? I don't know why, and that bothers me. Okay, Houston, Pittsburgh tonight. NFL, I'm begging you, stop the Monday Night Football shit for Wild Card Weekend. There's no reason for you to be playing Monday Night Football. None. 3 wild card games on Saturday, 3 wild card games on Sunday. Done. The Monday shit, it's asinine, it's stupid, it doesn't make sense. Period. Again, Major League Baseball, we are fast approaching spring training. I'm all ready for winter to be over, by the way. I've already been sick once. I'm sure I'll get sick again. I'm still fighting the lingering effects of this flu or this fucking cold, whatever's going on. Again, thanks to Harry Mays for jumping on here. It's always good to talk to Harry about golf. That's his thing. And of course, the Eagles. And again, I will go in more depth tomorrow on 4 Down Territory with the wild card games and news and notes from around the world in NFL. So I think I'm going to end it there because I really don't see anything here. I thought maybe something would have popped up on my most recent as far as news goes, and I am not seeing anything. No. So I think I'm going to end it there. Oh, I know what I wanted to get to. Where is it? You know, I am a NASCAR fan, and I'm sick and tired of their bullshit. So I thought maybe they would go to the old point system, the way it used to be, before the chase, before the playoffs, all of that. Well, NASCAR decided to fucking go back to the old way for the championship format. The chase for the championship. This is fucking stupid too. The new point system will use the framework of the system that was in place from 2004 to 2013 in the Cup Series, but with several key enhancements. The field size for the chase will remain the top 16. 12 in the O'Reilly Series and the 10 in the Truck Series. But all drivers qualify based on regular season's points. The win and you're in rule that provided regular season winners with automatic playoff berths is no more, which I like that. That I like. Race winners now collect 55 points, a 15-point increase over the previous point systems. Points awards for all other positions and stage results remain the same, but bankable playoff points are no longer part of the format. I like that. But you see where this is headed? Points will be reset for each series' chase field with a 25-point premium awarded to the regular season champion. Top seeds will start the chase with 2,100 points, 2,075 for the second seed, and 2,065 for the third seed, with a 5-point drop for each seed after. The Cup Series' chase spans the final 10 races of the season, with 9 chases for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series division and 7 in the Craftsman Truck Series. The driver with the most points at the end of the season will be the series champion. Again, it's fucking stupid. Here's a great idea. Why don't you just go way, way back to the old point system? Okay? However many drivers there are. There used to be, there was 42 or 43 drivers. Now I think it's like 38 or whatever it is. Like, let's just say 40 drivers make the race. Okay? 40 drivers. Wherever you finish, those are the points you get. So if you win the race, you get 160 points, and then it decreases 4 points all the way down. And whoever has the most points at the end of the season, there's your fucking champion. There should be no chase for the championship. You shouldn't have to reset points. None of it. Just go back to the old point system. It eliminates all the other bullshit that you don't have to worry about. There should be no fucking stage racing. Oh, well, the Daytona 500, we're going to break it up into 3 segments. We're going to do 60 laps, and then the final 80 laps. Stupid. You know what? You know what stage racing used to be? It used to be called the yellow flag. Caution. You used to have many of them. There's your stage race. No points awarded for stage. Get rid of stage racing. It's stupid. Just let the race play out. You know, if you're at some of the shorter tracks, it's just like, say, Martinsville, you have a comfortable lead. Oh, by the way, it's stages, so after 40 laps, if you get a distinct advantage and you're doing well in that race and you're leading and you're dominant, well, guess what? After the first stage, we're just going to punch everybody back up. Stupid. I've said this before and I'll say it again when it comes to NASCAR. Across the board. No bonus points for shit. Nothing. You qualify, you start where you qualify. At the end of the race, these are the points you're given, and that's it. So, with all that being said, I want to thank everybody that tunes in here on the Cole County Entertainment Network. Thanks again to Harry Mays for coming on. Always a blast to talk to him. 8 o'clock, Cole County Entertainment Network. We got the Patterson Avenue Fanatics. TK, Mr. Fuji, not Mr. Saito. And, of course, Mr. Allen. They will be breaking it down with the Eagles, the debacle. Look, they had a chance to win. With all the shit that they won the rushing battle, they won a turnover battle. It's, if you want to call it boneheaded play calling, whatever. If they just would have run the football. Run. Limit opportunities. And, of course, everyone's lab-based in Jalen. Everyone's lab-based in Patullo. Everyone's this. Everyone's that. It's a team effort. It's a team effort. That's all I'm going to say. Coaches weren't dropping passes yesterday. Coaches weren't missing kicks. That's on the players. Some of this has to be on the players. A.J. Brown didn't have to drop passes, being a diva. They weren't focused. If you want to call that on coaching, that the team wasn't focused enough, You are a professional football player or a professional baseball player. You shouldn't need any extra motivation. The coach shouldn't have to get you revved up for shit. It's on you to perform. As I say at the end of each show, practice compassion, practice empathy, have passion for what you do. Hug somebody every once in a while. You might make their day. Tell somebody you love them, that you love. You might not get a second opportunity. For God's sakes, if you see somebody struggling, inquire, ask questions. What can you do to help? What can you do to get the person help? You might not just be saving a life. You might be saving a multitude of lives. Enjoy the action tonight. NHL, NBA, whatever sport tickles your fancy. There's only one thing left to do, and that's for Dandy Don to take me out.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night, the party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.